At the peak of Medicine Mountain, where ancient clans gather and legends awaken, one young man steps forward, ready to challenge the very authority of the Yao clan. If you enjoy the way I make my videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Xiaoyan, this is the Yao clan. The red-haired elder glared furiously at Xiaoyan. When he saw Yao Wangui struggling desperately in Xiaoyan's grasp, he immediately shouted in rage, "Elder, I have no intention of stirring up trouble during my stay in the Yao clan. However, if anyone dares to bully my teacher or myself, I will never swallow such humiliation in silence." Xiaoyan's eyes were icy cold as he stared at the horrified Yao Wangui before him. His voice was low and heavy, each word carrying an unyielding resolve. As Xiaoyan's voice fell, Little Yi descended swiftly from the sky and landed upon his shoulder. The purifying demonic lotus flame coiled around him, releasing a terrifying heat that spread outward. Many faces instantly stiffened. This was the first time they had ever witnessed such a mysterious and fearsome heavenly flame. The moment Little Yi arrived, the powerful black-robed figure beside Xiaoyan stepped forward, coincidentally blocking the red-haired elder. That elder was a genuine six-star Daosheng, a terrifying existence, yet only the Northern King stood firm enough to stop him. Even Elder Wanhuo's eyelids twitched when he saw the lineup surrounding Xiaoyan, especially when his gaze lingered on the cold, indifferent black figure before him. A trace of fear rose within his eyes. From their earlier exchange, he had already realized that even he could not gain the upper hand. This Xiaoyan truly lives up to his reputation, Elder Wanhuo thought inwardly. So young, yet already this powerful and surrounded by such terrifying companions. To think such an outstanding talent emerged from the once declining Xiao clan. The fury on Elder Wanhuo's face gradually faded as he carefully examined Xiaoyan. His achievements were no less impressive than those ancient monsters who had cultivated for centuries. Among the younger generation of the entire continent, it was doubtful anyone could rival him. Xiaoyan Elder Wanhuo finally spoke, his tone noticeably gentler. "Today is an important day for my Yao clan. If Yao Wangui has offended you in any way, could you spare him for the sake of the Yao clan?" A ripple of shock spread through the crowd. They stared at Xiaoyan in disbelief. Never had they expected a six-star Daosheng to yield like this. Elder Wanhuo, several Yao clan elders cried out anxiously. In their view, if Elder Wanhuo acted personally, Xiaoyan would surely be subdued. Doing so would reaffirm the clan's authority before all guests. But silence, Elder Wanhuo roared coldly. "I know exactly what I'm doing." The elders immediately fell quiet. Others might not have understood the situation, but Elder Wanhuo knew clearly if he forced a fight today, he might not win against the Northern King. And that was without even accounting for Little Yi and the purifying demonic lotus flame lurking nearby. Though resentment burned in their hearts, the elders dared not speak further. Within the clan, only the clan head held authority above Elder Wanhuo. Xiaoyan was also slightly surprised. He had not expected such a high-ranking elder of the Yao clan to back down. The gloom on his face gradually softened. "You didn't come to the Yao clan merely to clash with Yao Wangui, did you?" Elder Wanhuo asked again, noticing the change in Xiaoyan's expression. Xiaoyan nodded slightly and turned his gaze toward Yao Lao. "Teacher." Everyone followed his gaze, their eyes finally settling on Yao Lao, who had remained silent from the beginning. "Since Elder Wanhuo has personally stepped forward," Yao Lao said calmly with a faint smile, "it would indeed be excessive for us to persist." He understood clearly it was impossible to truly kill Yao Wangui here. The Yao clan would never allow it. Since Elder Wanhuo had offered a path of retreat, Yao Lao was willing to accept it. The deterrence they sought had already been achieved. Elder Wanhuo finally sighed in relief. His gaze toward Yao Lao grew complicated. Who could have imagined that this once-abandoned clan member would reach such heights, stepping into the Daosheng realm and nurturing a disciple who surpassed him? Compared to Xiaoyan, the so-called geniuses of the Yao clan paled in comparison. If only we had valued him back then. Elder Wanhuo sighed inwardly. Regret lingered bitterly in his heart. Xiaoyan nodded after Yao Lao spoke. He glanced indifferently at Yao Wangui before casually tossing him toward the elders, who hurriedly caught him in disarray. Elder Wanhuo Xiaoyan said coldly, "My teacher and I represent the Sky Mansion Alliance. My teacher is the Alliance Chief. His status is not something others may trample upon. I hope certain elders remember to restrain their arrogance. Though our alliance is young, we will not tolerate baseless insults. There was no trace of fear or reverence in Xiaoyan's tone. Strength dictated everything. If a life-and-death battle truly erupted, Xiaoyan was confident he could take Elder Wanhuo's life. Elder Wanhuo was well aware of this and showed no anger. In terms of top-tier strength, the Sky Mansion Alliance stood shoulder to shoulder with the Yao clan, a fact many elders knew, though few were willing to accept. Elder Wang Yi is hot-tempered and often speaks without restraint. Elder Wanhuo said calmly, he will be punished accordingly. All present today are guests. Regardless of affiliation, the Yao clan will treat you with due respect. Yao Wangwai's face flushed crimson, yet he dared not utter a word. Elder Wanhuo waved his sleeve. Beams of light shot forth, striking those who had insulted Xiaoyan earlier. For disrespecting guests, he declared coldly, "You are exiled from Medicine Mountain for 10 years. Iron guards take them away." Moments later, several figures dragged the pale-faced offenders away like dead dogs. Alliance Chief Yao Young Friend, Xiaoyan Elder Wanhuo chuckled lightly. "Are you satisfied with this outcome?" Xiaoyan admires Elder Wanhuo's fairness. Xiaoyan replied with a polite smile, cupping his hands. "Excellent. Since it grows late, those wishing to observe the medicinal ceremony may follow me to the summit." Elder Wanhuo stroked his beard proudly. "Young friend Xiaoyan, you were once the pill-gathering champion. Yet our medicinal ceremony represents the pinnacle of alchemy on the Du-Chi continent. Should you emerge victorious, the title of top alchemist may bear a new surname." Xiaoyan smiled calmly. "My alchemy was taught by my teacher. I would be honored to learn from the continent's greatest masters." "Haha, you will certainly have your chance." With that, Elder Wanhuo soared into the sky, followed closely by the Yao clan elders. Xiaoyan smirked faintly, trying to reclaim face through alchemy. "That won't be easy." "Teacher, let's go," he said with a laugh. "Let's witness these so-called top alchemists of the Du-Chi continent." Yao Lao smiled and nodded. Together, master and disciple rose into the air, following the Yao clan elders toward the mountain peak. The peak of the Medicine Mountain was shrouded in drifting clouds. A strange medicinal fragrance permeated the air, soothing the heart and mind, as though one had stepped into a sacred realm. Below the clouds stretched an endless sea of medicinal ingredients, clustered densely across the mountaintop. Suspended above this sea floated an enormous stadium, incomparably vast. At the four corners of the arena stood 4 gigantic medicinal cauldrons, from which pill fragrances slowly rose, forming wisps of smoke that merged with the clouds above. Numerous figures stood upon the floating platform, lively discussions echoing throughout the space. Their gazes were all directed toward the northern side, where rows of stone seats were neatly arranged. Graceful female attendants moved between them like butterflies, their agile hands continuously refilling jade cups placed upon stone tables. Swoosh, swoosh, Xiaoyan and Yao Lao shot toward the mountaintop. Their eyes swept across the surroundings as they searched for a seat, when Elder Wanhuo suddenly rose from his stone chair and laughed heartily. "Alliance Chief Yao Chen, young friend, Xiaoyan, this way, please." Yao Chen, Xiaoyan, the Sky Mansion Alliance. "To think even they have come. I heard Yao Sheng was once from the Yao clan, but was expelled for some reason. If that's true, doesn't that mean the Yao clan must regret it deeply now?" Elder Wanhuo's voice instantly drew countless gazes toward Xiaoyan and Yao Lao. The Sky Mansion Alliance had risen like a blazing star, already regarded as a new overlord of the Central Plains. Most of those present had long heard of its alliance chief and spiritual leader, and hushed whispers quickly spread through the crowd. Xiaoyan ignored the surrounding stares entirely, his attention fixed solely on Yao Lao. "Haha, just as you said," Yao Lao laughed. "We represent the Sky Mansion Alliance. If they didn't give us a respectable seat, wouldn't that be an insult to the alliance?" Xiaoyan smiled in response. In a flash, the two appeared near Elder Wanhuo and took their seats. The attendants immediately hurried over to serve them. Elder Wanhuo smiled warmly, but the elders beside him felt somewhat uncomfortable. These were senior figures of the Yao clan, yet if Yao Chen had never left, they would have been the ones greeting him. Now reality had reversed their roles. After all, the chief of the Sky Mansion Alliance held a status comparable to the Yao clan's own leader. "There's nothing particularly interesting at the start of the medicinal ceremony," Yao Lao said softly as he looked down at the massive stone stage. It's mostly younger disciples displaying their skills. The real highlight comes later. He turned to Xiao with a faint smile. If you can emerge victorious in the final competition, the title of the continent's top alchemist will belong to you. I don't care much about titles, Xiao replied with a smile, but the Yao clan's arrogance is unbearable. I only wish to use the alchemy you taught me to show them how their foolish decisions cost them a true genius. Yao Lao chuckled. You little brat. Though he scolded him lightly, his face was filled with pride. Heaven had truly been generous to him. Even so, Yao Lao continued solemnly, this medicinal ceremony will not be easy. Those who reach the final round are among the greatest alchemists alive. Such figures are rare even within the pill tower. Xiao nodded. Strong opponents only stirred his blood. Ever since the pill gathering, he had not experienced such a stage, let alone one filled with opponents far more formidable than before. As they spoke, the crowd around the stage grew denser. The noise swelled until a deep gong suddenly echoed through the heavens. Welcome, clan head. The Yao clan members rose in unison, their voices reverberating like thunder. The clouds churned and parted as a white-robed, white-haired old man slowly stepped forward. With a single gesture, waves of mysterious power rippled outward, causing space itself to seem frozen. The Yao clan's head, Xiao eyes narrowed. That is Yao Dan, Yao Lao said quietly, a 7-star Daosheng. Xiao expression grew solemn. This man was undeniably the strongest of the Yao clan, stronger even than the Sky Mansion's top experts. Such was the terrifying foundation of an ancient clan. Yao Dan smiled warmly as he clasped his hands toward the crowd. His gaze suddenly leapt past everyone and settled upon Yao Lao, emotions flickering within his eyes. Beside Yao Lao, Xiao sensed the shift. A black light flashed as the Northern King appeared once more, its cold gaze locking onto Yao Dan like a feral beast poised to strike. Yao Lao slowly raised his head and smiled faintly. Greetings, clan head Yao Dan. Yao Chen, Yao Dan sighed softly. We were all mistaken. He glanced briefly at Xiao and the Northern King, before moving to his seat amid respectful welcomes. Just then, an ancient voice echoed across the sky, rich with medicinal fragrance. Old man Yao Dan, you finally emerge from seclusion. A green streak cut through the horizon. Within moments, a pale green medicinal cauldron arrived, carrying an elderly man in plain robes. Jade bottles clinked softly as they hung from his medicinal staff. Old man Shen Nong. To think he has appeared. Shock flashed across Yao Lao's face. Even Xiao expression turned grave. This was an ancient figure of the alchemist world, someone even Yao Lao could only regard as a senior. This truly lives up to the name of the medicinal ceremony. Xiao licked his lips, excitement boiling in his blood. Old man Shen Nong's gaze paused on Xiao, surprise flashing in his eyes. Perfect heavenly state spiritual strength. At such an age, remarkable. Greetings, Elder Shen. Nong Xiao said calmly, clasping his hands. Shen Nong nodded with a smile, but before he could sit, his brows furrowed. A black cloud surged forth, transforming into a middle-aged man clad in black. The plaza instantly filled with a soul-chilling hum. Haha, Hun Huzi of the Hun clan arrives uninvited. I hope clan head Yao Dan will forgive the intrusion. Hun Huzi. Yao Lao's body trembled. A piercing cold light surged into his eyes.